Hello, everybody, and welcome to Gen Friends. I'm Cheri Hudson-Passy from Carolina Girl Genealogy, and my awesome panel is here, and we are going to talk about Relative Race, Season 14, Day 8. Another fabulous episode. I can't believe we're on Day 8, but before we get started, let me introduce this panel. We've got Melissa Barker, our archive lady, and Melissa, I'm so glad you're here, and I also would like to ask you what you've got coming up because I'll bet you've got some stuff coming up.
I do, and glad to be here tonight. Yeah, I've got some webinars. Many of us on the panel do a lot of speaking, so much so, especially right now. But on the 14th of November, I'll be speaking to the East Side Genealogical Society, and this is all virtual. I do pretty much everything virtually, and I'm going to be speaking about it's not all online researching and archives. And then on November the 16th, I've got two that day. And early in the morning, I'm going to be speaking to the Sussex County Genealogical Society of Delaware about the Tennessee State Library and Archives, mega archives for your Tennessee ancestors. So if you have Tennessee ancestors, that would be a great
Nice.
one to attend. And then the last one on that day is with the South King County Genealogical Society. I'm actually going to be on a panel. It's going to be a panel discussion about preserving your family heirlooms and finding records in archives.
Great. That sounds really good. And it is that time of year that sometimes we do have two and three in a day. So as people are winding up the year, and here comes Laura just in time. Guys, Laura's in a play and she has to get home from play practice to join us. So while she's coming in, Mary Kircher Roddy from MKR Genealogy is with us, and Mary has got tons of stuff going on. So let's, and also from the Applied Genealogy Institute, which has got courses coming up. So we'll put the link to that. But what else you got going on?
Yeah, the Applied Genealogy Institute. I want to make sure I get it right.
Yeah, I've got you messed up, right?
Um, I will be teaching a course in Irish research in the spring.
So
I'm very
cool.
excited about.
Yeah.
And so you can get on our mailing list. We'll have the link in the
Mhm.
chat, or the show notes or whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
wherever Cheri puts it. Um,
It'll be on the video and the blog post.
And if you see this on Wednesday when it gets released, I'm going to be talking to the Denver Public Library on Wednesday in honor of Veterans Day. Really, it's a World War II veterans story that I'll be talking about. And then Saturday, I'm teaching for the Sacramento Public Library on bagging a live one. So finding
Oh,
living
that's a
people.
good one. Yeah, that's a really good one. I like that. That's a very good presentation. That's a great one.
And I do have my news to celebrate the
Yes, yes, I was just
I,
going to say,
okay.
but go ahead. Go ahead.
You go ahead.
Oh, announce it. You
All
just
right.
got, we all know how wonderful Mary is. And so Mary, besides, being a CG, just earned another certification. Go ahead and let them know what it is and explain to them what
The
it is.
I have the certified genetic genealogist credential
Oh, we're
from
so
the Board
proud
for
of you.
Certification of
Yeah,
Genealogists.
we're so
Um,
proud of her.
I'm number
Not a
6.
surprise, not a surprise. So
Very,
yeah.
very excited. I was
Yeah.
hoping to get a single digit number. So
Yes, this
yes,
makes you
yeah, number 6.
number six. So there's only six genealogists in the whole entire world because it's a pretty new um, uh, certificate or
Credential. Yeah.
certification, yeah, credential. And so very, very nice. That's so
Yeah.
wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
She knows what she's doing, everybody. And Laura Hedgecock from Treasure Chest of Memories just popped in from play practice.
Sorry
Hi,
about
Laura.
that.
No, you're fine. Do you have anything coming up? I couldn't ask you beforehand because you weren't on, but
I don't even know what I'm doing past tomorrow.
okay.
I think,
If
I
if
know
you
I
find
do.
something, if you find something, send it to me and I'll stick it. I don't have anything until December, so
Yeah, I just had something for
actually
the,
that's not right. I've got something at the end of November, so I'll announce that when it gets closer.
yeah, just had something for the Mid-Continental Library
Um,
in Missouri, but I forgot to say it beforehand, so it's over.
oh, it's over. Oh well, that's okay. We're just starting to do this, and so I forgot because of last week was so crazy with day 7. I totally forgot to ask anybody. So, and Jenny, how are you doing? Like how
Good,
you had
good.
some genealogy? Any-
Thank you. Happy to be here, and but I'm taking notes here as Melissa and Mary and is or saying what they're doing, because especially the Irish one, Mary, I got
Yeah.
to check that one out.
Yeah.
So that's my Achilles heel here. No, I don't have any little talks scheduled until February, but I'm just finishing up a slate course, so that's kind of kept
Yes.
me busy right now. So,
Yeah, it's been
but
fun.
happy to be here.
Yeah. So glad
And
you
I
guys are.
can put in a plug for the Bagging Alive one. You're just doing a presentation on that, or you're doing another course, Mary?
The Begging Live is just a presentation. We're recording this on Monday. I'm doing one tonight after this is over,
Yeah.
and then actually doing it for another
Yeah.
or a library on
Busy,
Saturday.
busy,
I took the
busy
course.
people.
It was very, very good.
Yeah, yeah. Mary's a great teacher, and everybody, you guys are all great speakers. And so I encourage you, any of you, to check those links and get signed up, because these, everybody's busy doing this kind of stuff. And so we thought we ought to let y'all know what we're up to during the week. So with that, thank you guys all so much for being here so that we can talk about day 8. Another day full of surprises and firsts and things we weren't expecting, things that didn't work out quite the way people thought were going to work out. And so it was kind of a crazy day. We come off of day 7, which was absolutely insane. It was just what a day that was. I was really, really happy that at the beginning they did kind of show Team Black and kind of all their relatives that they'd met, and kind of have a little ending instead of just this, okay, they're gone. So at least it gave us time to kind of what we wanted last week, that time out. It kind of gave us that closure we kind of needed. And for anybody that's on the Relative Race, fans of Relative Race or Relative Race Live Facebook pages, Joby did post a photo of a cousin that she's met since the race, and she looks really good. So that was wonderful to see that. So if you're on those, and we always have the links in the post or in the video, so that if you're not part of that, you can go and join those and kind of continue the conversation after too, till the next show comes on, right? There's a lot of past team people on there from past seasons, and the ones a lot from the season that's being aired. So that's always a fun thing to get on. But so we did have that kind of update, and that kind of helped me a little bit. So what else was going on? Oh, Team Blue, they had an advantage. They had the advantage of the map, right? A
A
detailed
detailed
map.
map.
What happened? Did it
It
work?
was too detailed.
Yeah.
Too
Either that or
detailed.
they're not real good at reading maps, bless their hearts.
Bless their hearts. Well, they couldn't remember where they started
Southern
from.
girl saying that too.
Yeah, bless their heart. Exactly.
And I say that because if you handed me a map, I couldn't read it either. I'm so directionally challenged.
Oh, yeah. So their whole bonus didn't work for them. And what I thought was really funny, I know I'm jumping to the end, but I loved the end when they were talking to him. They said, "From now on, we don't move until we know where we are, where we're going." That was so funny. That's a good plan, right? Don't go anywhere until we know where we're going. That was really, really funny. I loved that Team Green was eating breakfast
Yeah.
with Pam's relatives, and they
Yes.
also they've already got Thanksgiving planned,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I
They're
thought that-
talking the holidays, so that's
yeah,
good.
they're talking the holidays. So I thought that was great. I did think it was sad though when Laura Jean says, "Yeah, when you're a mom of boys, it's lonely." And I was like, "What?" But I guess she's
Yeah,
got
my
one.
husband and I talked about that.
Yeah.
I don't know about everybody, but usually and very historically, if you look at even in genealogy,
Mhm.
the when you get married, you tend to go towards the wife's family. I mean, you want
Yeah.
you to think about many of our ancestors, our male ancestors that are
Yeah.
buried in their wives'
Yeah.
families' cemetery
That's true.
or
That's
live on their
true.
wives' family's property. And so even my husband reminded me, well, don't you remember we would go to your family's house for this, for that, for that? And I'm like, well, I guess so. So
Yeah, yeah. So that must be, I don't know if he's married and maybe he just goes and hangs out with his friends, but I was like, oh, at least they have each other, and she's
Yes.
making all these new connections. So I thought that was fun. And Red was just, reeling still a little bit from,
What I
yeah.
loved about Red was that when they were in the car, and of course they were rapping
Oh, that
their
was
song, and then
so
when they cut to
funny.
Dan and Dan was rapping, I thought that was classic.
It's
That was
hilarious.
so funny. That was
Yeah, I thought
so
that's a
funny.
first.
And
That's
I
a
thought to
first.
myself,
Dan
I,
rapping.
I wonder how many times they had to practice that, or maybe he just jumped right into it. I mean, maybe he's that skilled. Jenny, you wanted to say something?
No, I was just saying what I thought was different this time was they kind of did a little like backstory of all of them, which I
Yes.
don't recall them doing yet this season,
Yeah, and
where
their bonds. Yeah.
yeah, and their bonds, which was really helpful to me to kind of give a little bit more insight.
Mhm.
Team Blue was talking about what that
Yeah.
they were, that they kind of, as brothers, they kind of had drifted a little bit apart, and
Right.
then this race
Yeah.
had made them more aware
Right.
to be closer, and they were closer, and I
Yeah.
liked how they did it with
Yeah.
each team because
Yeah, I thought
I
that
wasn't
was really
expecting
great.
that, you
Yeah,
know.
and Team Red was talking about how they felt like sisters. I mean, they came into this and didn't even know each other. You would never know that from watching. You would
I
never,
forgot.
yeah, you would you would never know that they did not know each other ahead of time. It's been really, really special to watch them support each other. And then of course, Laura Jean and Pam. I mean, they've been friends for such a long time and really support each other and they're best friends and they said we're more like sisters than just best friends. So
I liked that. I just liked
I
that
did
little
too.
step back, to just kind of say a little bit behind the scenes of like how they,
I agree.
how they were in their real lives.
In their
I
real
liked,
lives. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I agree. I thought that was really nice. It was a nice little thing to slide in there. And they probably had to find something to slide in there because they didn't have Team Black. So, and who knows, maybe that would have been in there anyway. But anyhow, so they end up off to the races and
I
then
would have even liked to have seen it earlier in the season,
yeah,
just to know a little
I agree.
more
Yeah.
about the contest, or what do you call it?
I guess the teammates,
The
but I guess the
teams, the team
contestants too.
contestants
Yeah.
or whatever. And
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
I really loved the Team Blue. I loved hearing about the older brother, younger brother dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just heartwarming because,
Yeah.
as a parent, when your kids aren't getting along, it's like the end of the world. And then to hear that, oh, okay, yeah, we went through a couple of years where we weren't.
We're really talking and now we're okay. Yeah, exactly. And I know I've seen some hints in the Facebook pages, especially from Daniel saying things like, oh, they cut all these great lines, we had a lot of fun dialogue going on and they've cut it, it sounds like they do a lot of movie quotes and things like that as there. Speaking of movie quotes, how hysterical was that when he's like, coming soon to a theater near you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
And
good.
then
funny.
Dan comes on and rates it RR.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think we'd like you to do that voice as you introduce us in the future. And can we hear you introduce us in that voice?
That would be really funny.
And
Yeah, that was
coming
really
to a
cute.
YouTube channel near you.
Coming to a new show.
The
Oh, that would
illustrious.
be funny. But yeah, so Dan's little voiceovers were pretty funny Sunday night, so for day 8. So I thought that was great. Team Red did not have such a great day.
No.
Anybody want to kick it off with Team Red since
Well, with Team Red, they
Easton
didn't have
teleported the challenge? Yeah.
they ran into flooding, which I mean, I don't remember. I was trying to think back because they're in the South, and I was trying to
I
think back
wonder
to
when
when
it,
this was being recorded and what was going on at the
yeah.
time. But they ran into flooding, so the
April.
I-10 was shut down.
Yeah.
So they had to figure out a different way, which I know it made me think, if a whole interstate is shut down, shouldn't there have been instructions on the message boards about what to take, where to go, your
And maybe
shortcuts,
maybe
or
there was, and that's how they found it, but they just didn't
I
show
don't
us that
know.
because they don't have well, they have maps in the car,
No,
but
she was
Yeah,
on the
she's
the highway the lighted messages that you get on the side of the
yeah.
house.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. Maybe there were, and we just didn't see it. But then again, they're from the area, so it could be that they could figure out, or at least Precious. But I don't know if she's from
Yeah,
where we were on day 7. I can't remember. But yeah, so somehow they figured out.
they did. They did.
And
Well, interesting that, because we talked to them about this before. How was that time estimated?
yeah,
And they said they look on the day. I mean, it's
yeah,
not like they do it today and assume what
yeah,
the traffic is going to be like. So
right.
I can't imagine that those roads wouldn't have been flooded
Yeah,
before they sent that message. If they were flooded when they were trying to
yeah,
drive on them, they would
yeah.
have, well,
They
did
probably
that,
just said this
did
is
that
part
impact
of,
the time?
yeah, probably,
Well,
I don't know. That's a good
I'll tell you
question.
my thoughts on that when we get to what happened with the challenge, because I think that kind of explains it.
Maybe.
I don't want to give too much away at this. Well, are we starting with the end?
Well, we could. Melissa, do you want to, since you're talking about Team Red, what happened when
Well,
they
and I'm just thinking
challenged?
too, all the things that happened on this particular day. I think we had maybe more things happen on this day than we did maybe any other day. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
it was
Mm-hmm.
out of their control. But I think we also have to keep reminding ourselves, and coming from the person who didn't like this part, it's all gamemanship too.
Yeah, yeah,
We have to remember it's a game and we have
yeah,
challenges and we have things that happen that,
yeah.
maybe it doesn't seem like it's fair, but it's the game.
It's part of the game.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So
So,
Melissa, do you want to go ahead and tell what happened when they
yes,
got
they got to their challenge where they were supposed to do their challenge, and just letting everybody know the name of the challenge is No Stuntmen Left Behind.
yeah,
Um,
going in the book.
and
Go ahead.
and do what?
It's going in the book. Somebody asked me,
Oh
is it going
yeah.
in the book? And I
I
went,
don't think I want that one
it's,
in the book.
I think it'd be fun to have it in the book. Yeah.
But so they get
Be
to their place where
expensive.
they're supposed to do the challenge, and some guy runs up, and I'm like, "Who's this?"
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. So some guy runs up and says, "You can't do the challenge. There's a tornado watch in the area, and so out of caution and
Yeah.
safety, just move on."
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, well, what does
What does
that mean?
that mean?
What does that mean? Right.
What does that mean? Yeah, exactly. And we'll find out what that meant as we
So I
get.
don't just, I mean, those of you who have watched all of the seasons, which I haven't, did they ever
I've
not do
never,
their challenge?
I've never seen
Mhm.
that happen. Never,
Mhm.
ever have
And
I
I've
seen
never
that.
seen it happen. And there's sometimes when maybe they shouldn't have done the challenge because of safety issues. I mean,
Rain
there's
or
been
something like
the
that. Yeah.
rain that made people slip and people
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
Oh,
injured on
Yeah.
some of the challenges
This is
because
true.
of
Yeah.
rain.
Yeah. Well, they had to not only get them out of there, they had to get the production crew out of there and everybody that was, waiting for them and any cameramen and stuff that were waiting to film the challenge. They probably were long gone. And just the one lone poor guy was
Yeah.
waiting, like, they better hurry up because I need to get out of here before I get hit.
Yeah, I mean,
You
it's
know,
it's not like it's a quick, I mean, obviously, we've interviewed enough people here that we know that it's
mhm.
production is a big deal, and you can't
Yes.
just, a tornado comes in 10 seconds, you can't just run and get
Oh,
out.
yeah.
It's like you've got equipment, you've got all kinds
Yeah.
of stuff going on. So
Yeah.
I think it was the right call because
I do too.
you just
Because
don't know.
you don't know.
Okay, you have to do safety first.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Always safety
yes.
first. Always, always, always.
So now there were only
Yeah,
two teams doing the challenge.
2 teams doing that challenge. And how interesting was that? We knew something was up because Dan said this is what they have to do. They had to take that heavy dummy and they had to carry him underneath that netting. And
Hmm.
then they had a slippery slope, as they called it, which, they had to get him over that. And then they had that bar that they had to get him over. And then they were done. And then he goes, or are they? And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? What does
I
that
have to
mean?
say, when they showed the challenge, they show you how and like graphics how it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
And they showed that dummy going and I thought to myself, that looks like me trying to get up and go get my cup of coffee in the morning.
Oh, that's
But
too
man,
funny.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like, can you imagine and then that netting, I thought, but each of those teams did it differently. One
They
went
did? Yeah.
in front ways and one went in back ways, which they got their shoes kept getting their shoes caught in the netting. So
Yeah.
that was not the best way to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I honestly thought it was in the grand scheme of things an easy challenge.
Yeah. I think it was
I
just because
mean,
the dummy was so heavy. I think that was
yeah.
depends on if you can pick up, something that heavy.
And then I was kind of like, I mean, I know that there was something at the end. We can talk about that, but it
Mhm.
wasn't what I thought it was going to be when he said, or is it,
Or is it? Yeah, who wants to say what it was when they opened up the envelope thinking this was their, and it was the address to
Yes.
um their relative.
But they could earn a bonus, I guess it was said, I can't remember the exact words, by doing it over and
Yeah,
over as many times as they wanted to do
that's
it.
right. It would cost them time, but whoever did it the most got the bonus for the next day.
Did it
That's what it
cost
was.
them time?
Well, of course, because you're sitting there going over and over and over
I
and over.
know, but I feel like the clock didn't restart until they
Yeah.
the challenge.
And it could be too because they're not, that's right, because they're not, well, the overall time would have,
Yeah,
that's a good question.
I
That's a
don't
good
think because I
question.
think
Because
otherwise the
Team Green chose
overall
not,
time.
yeah, Team Green chose not to do it because they said, oh no, we got relatives to meet. We don't want to take the time to do it again. So maybe, but they did it 4 times. 4 times.
It's exhausting.
And after the third time, Daniel says, I don't think I can do this again. And Johnny says, yeah, we can do it one more
We had to
time.
do
I'm
one
like,
more
whoo.
time. And he's like, oh, okay.
How they stunk when they arrived at their village.
Well, you notice they had him put on a helmet and they had him put on pants.
Deodorant. No, I'm just kidding.
They had him put on like waterproof pants because it was slippery and gunky and so that they didn't get their pants because they could change. I think they've got shirts that they can change in the car, but probably not your pants. That would have been more than they wanted to do. So
If I
they
can
did.
remember it, when we get the teams on, I want to
Uh-huh.
ask the question because there's so much that's cut out of these
Oh yeah.
episodes. But I want to know if anyone took one of those dummies and put it in the car like a crash dummy with them.
Oh gosh, that would have been funny.
That would
That
have
would
been
have been,
hilarious.
yeah, because we've had chickens taken. We've had
Yes, we have.
But a
all
rubber chicken and a life-size dummy are like that's like petty larceny and grand theft auto.
I love it. I love it. And Relative Race probably had to turn those dummies back in somewhere, probably. Yeah,
Right.
probably did. That's too funny. But that would have been funny to see that sitting in the car. That would have been really, really funny if somebody had done that. We would have noticed, they would have shown us, unless they're going to show us if somebody did, on day 9. But yeah, so Team Green's like, nope, nope. And Blue does it 4 times. So we know who's going to get that bonus from them because of the that did it. So, and then of course, Blue and Green did not know that Red didn't do their challenge. So they don't know. Green knows they're not going to get it because they only did it the one time, unless everybody just did it one time and then it wasn't. I don't know what they would have done. I guess they would have done it by time. I guess that's the only way. I don't know. I don't know.
It said the ones that did it more times. I mean, that's
Yes.
so Team Blue did it 4 times, but they really only, in retrospect, had to have done it one extra time
Yeah,
instead of 3
exactly. They only had to do it
extra
one more
times.
time and they would, but
Yeah,
they don't
yeah,
know
but they
that.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. They absolutely did not know that. So I wonder if they talked about that later and went, all that trouble, and all we had to do was do it 2 times.
The brothers argued over that.
Oh gosh. Do you want to, since we've talked about the challenge, Melissa, do you want to finish up with Team Red and her meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
One thing too, when they got to the house, which was a gorgeous house, by the
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
they did another first. There was another first. At least I think it was a first. Someone can correct me. They actually there was a note and it says pull into the garage. Well, it had been raining, so they thought it was because of the raining. So I think this is the first time we've ever had contestants pull into a
I don't remember
garage.
that. I don't remember anybody else having to do it.
And they got out and went into the house and they're walking through the house. And then they meet their relative. And it is Camille's father, Barry.
Yes. That was, well, we were kind of hoping that would happen
Yes.
at some point. And I didn't think he was going to let her go. That was quite the long hug. But what I really thought was cute about the moment, because that was a moment between the two of them. But I thought Precious was so funny because she's like, oh, we're in on this. And she comes and runs up. And then you could just see her in the background too, just like going, oh,
She was squealing with excitement. Yeah.
She was so excited. So we've got Camille, very reserved and and that's her personality anyway. But she's meeting this man that she didn't even know if she wanted to meet or had, and she explained that I don't even never even thought about a dad, not to hurt his feelings, but just to say I wasn't raised with a dad, so she wasn't thinking about looking for a dad. It was her mom that she really wanted to find. But that changed too, I think, when she met her brother, her paternal brother and sister, and they told her about the dad. And so, but they looked so much alike.
I
They
think that
really
had a
do.
lot to do with like, it as well, like her acceptance,
Mhm.
they look so much alike. She's like, he's wearing my
He's wearing
face,
my
or,
face. Yeah, I mean,
I'm wearing
well,
his face.
yeah, that was really
But
sweet. I loved
but
that.
I just feel like these contestants they're dealing with so much in
Mhm.
such a short amount of time to deal
Mhm.
with so
Yeah,
much
right.
emotional and I think it was just a lot of that,
It was a
of just
lot.
kind of, learning that her mother had died, had passed away like
Yes.
just the day before. And
Right.
I just think the embrace was, they both just were like
Yeah.
hanging on, and
Yeah.
it really was very sweet to see that they're both trying to figure this out.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. And she's had a little bit more time to figure this out.
Mhm.
I mean, he's had 3 or 4 months, he said, that he knew he had a daughter, but she's been processing these emotions along the way, as she's
Mhm.
meeting people. He's not
Mhm.
had to do that before. He's had to sit there and wait. And so
Right.
can't imagine how hard that is to sit there and wait for your son or
Okay,
your daughter to come to you.
but do you think he was only told he was going to meet his daughter?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that's exactly what he was told. And he also said, I didn't know about you. And then, Camille said that that was kind of hard for her because she was kind of hoping she'd get some answers about her mom. And I'm sure she did get some, but I think she was hoping for a little bit more, but for him not to have known about her at all, I think it made what she was wanting to get maybe unreachable. At least that's what she thought. But as they continued talking, hopefully she got more than she thought that she was going to get. So
And there could be other people
yes.
that
Yeah,
were, now that she knows who her mom
exactly,
was and
exactly.
stuff, that she can find
Mhm.
other people that may have hurt.
Exactly. So we got what we think was a bombshell, huh, Melissa? You're talking about you. I might as well let you do it since you've been talking about Team Red.
Well,
So
I
all
mean,
of a
she
sudden,
talks
yeah,
about her twin brother,
yeah,
her blood twin brother.
yeah.
And I mean, I just knew I was going to come on tonight and y'all were going to say, well, yeah, Melissa, they've been talking about
Mhm.
it all along, but I'm just like,
Yeah,
this is the first I remember hearing of it.
yeah.
And she says his name is Lawrence. And so they must have been adopted together then.
No, because they only met when they were 16 or
No,
adopted at the same time. Yeah, but by
she
different
said
people.
I didn't catch that
reunited.
they were adopted at 16. I knew that she shared photographs of when they were 16. When they
Yeah.
were together,
Or
she
maybe
said.
I misunderstood.
I think they started out together because she said they were reunited.
Oh, okay.
I don't
So
know.
I
That'll
didn't
be
catch
that
that.
interesting.
that's very vague on whether they were both
Yeah.
adopted out to
Mhm.
different things or they had been in foster care for a bit. It's very
Oh,
vague.
that could be it too.
Mhm.
Right. That could
And
be
she
it
said she
too.
didn't have a father at all, a father figure
Yeah.
of any kind. So anyway, so not only did he find out he has a daughter, but he also found out that he's got a son,
Yeah.
twins.
He looked in shock about
He
that.
did.
He
He did
really
What?
did.
because I don't think the show, maybe the producers hadn't told him that. Maybe they
I
were
don't think
leaving it
so.
for a surprise or
Didn't
something.
Yeah.
did not appear that he had
But
any inkling.
he knew. But I mean, I was intrigued by her saying too that we were at SeaWorld and people saw us and realized we must be siblings and brought us together. And I'm like, I want
Yeah,
to hear that
there's a
story.
Yeah, we
story.
didn't get the whole story there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
story there.
So
There's definitely more. Yeah, there's
yeah,
definitely
there's
more on the
definitely
story.
more. And I'm vaguely remembering, and I'm sorry, Camille, if you talked about I'm vaguely remember something about a brother from the beginning, but you get so caught up in the story that you forget some of these points that aren't brought out, over and over every week, pre coming on the show, what was going on. And so yeah, I have a memory of somebody talking about her having this brother. And I don't know if it was actually on the show or if it was one of those pre
Oh, yeah.
interviews that they did. It could have been one of those, but I have a vague memory of it. And that makes you wonder why he didn't come on the show with her, but it could very well be that he just didn't want to, and that's fine
Or
too.
That was my next question. I was thinking, why didn't he come with her
He probably
on the
didn't.
show? But there's could be all kinds of reasons.
All
So
kinds of reasons.
it could have been too that relative race was looking for a single person because
Mhm.
they had Precious that they weren't
Yeah.
sure was going to fill up the whole week. Or
Yeah.
not everybody can take a week off of work.
This is true. This is true. And he
If
just
it's
may
Easter in
not
April,
have,
he's not getting off.
right. And it's not somebody she talked about every week unless they cut it so that we could be shocked day 8. But so maybe he just, because she's very reserved, as she's on the show and just really thinking these through and very passionate about meeting her relatives. And if she said they're like two peas in a pod, so maybe he just didn't feel like that was something he wanted to do on television. I mean, I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah.
And
Or maybe he figured they're so much alike, she could just do it for both of them.
for both of them, and then maybe that's what he thought. Just you go do it. But I loved how she was telling her father that he loves bigger than her. She says, I love big, but he loves even bigger. I thought that was really sweet. I thought that was really,
That was just a very touching
yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it was once again kind of the roles were switched. I think Camille was the one that was kind of together and had kind of known what to expect, and Barry was the one that was just processing.
Exactly.
And especially when
Yes.
he looked at the picture, and I
Yeah.
think the passage of time hit him really hard.
Yes. And he said to think that you guys were out there living, breathing, walking around all this time and
That
I
was
didn't know it. Oh,
that was so well put.
yeah.
So I found that very touching.
I did
And
too. Yeah, I did. I did too. I did too. It's got to be a shock, even though he had known about it for about 4 months or so. How do you process that? And then how do you meet first time on television? I mean, that's just to me, that's just just overwhelming.
well, and then he finds
He
right
was
there on the
overwhelmed.
spot that he's got a son.
Yeah, there's not one, but there's two.
Yeah, so
well,
it's a lot.
and a son in some ways can be more significant to some men because it's somebody that would normally have carried his name.
Yes, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
And
Yeah.
then she verifies how many children he has, and was it 4?
It's 4.
4.
Because she met the 2 and
She
then
met the 2, yeah.
and then her twin brother. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was
So he
was
doubled his
amazing.
children
He doubled,
in one day.
his children. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Who do you want to do? Somebody green, blue? Who wants to do one of the teams? Anyone?
I'll do green.
Okay, sounds great.
Yeah. So Laura met her brother.
Yeah,
And-
speaking about people wearing each other's faces.
Yes, yeah, he walked out. There's no question. Yeah, he looks, so much like her.
Yeah.
And she said he looks just like my son.
He did.
Yeah, exactly. Because they showed a picture. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So, and she was saying, I've never been the big sister before. So I'm going to have to look up how to be a big sister. I'm going to have to Google that and find out how to be a big sister. I thought that was cute.
I find it interesting this season, and maybe they've done it in the past, but I'm noticing it more, is that as they find their siblings, they're really seeing where they are in the ranking.
Yeah.
Am I younger? Am I older? Am I,
Yeah.
and so,
Yeah.
and they're really kind of putting themselves in that place where they belong in the siblings, and they're really enjoying the fact they may have an older sibling or a younger sibling.
Yeah.
And so kind of neat.
Yeah.
And
That was
kind of in comparison with what their previous family life was like, because she was the youngest amongst all these older siblings. And then now she's an older.
Yeah.
But it I mean, he said to her right away, I love you.
Yeah.
And it was so poignant for her, having been
rejected.
abandoned
She felt,
basically by
yeah.
her adoptive siblings, that they wanted, they just
Yeah.
gone. I mean, they just wanted
Mhm.
nothing.
Mhm.
And so to have, these complete strangers, but
Exactly.
blood relatives, just be so excited to
Exactly.
have her in their lives and be part
Yeah.
of her life.
And he said, I'm not a hugger, but
But
I
that felt
thought he was
right.
so sweet.
yeah,
That was just
Yeah.
really sweet.
yeah, I thought so too. And then she had said, I wished I had done this earlier. I wished I'd looked for you earlier, So because he didn't know anything about her. He didn't know that she existed and until the show let him know. And so yeah, yeah.
There's been a lot
Yes.
of that sentiment this season.
Mhm.
And I kind of like keep rolling that around in my head. Like there is like kind of a transcendent right time to do these things, and
Mhm.
people find that time. And I just kind of hate for them that there's so much regret.
Yeah,
And they do find that time, and it does come about that they have this self-accusation of I could have done it earlier, or
yeah, yeah.
I just wish
Right.
everybody could just have pure joy without these little
Exactly, without
flashes
the
of
regret. And I don't remember, is it just me? I don't remember any of them saying this season, I've been looking for my birth family and have not been able to find them. I don't remember any of them saying that. And we've heard that in seasons past. Does anybody?
Bill was looking for her birth mother.
Yes, yes, right. But well, she wanted to find her birth mother. I don't know if she'd ever actively been searching, but she
Oh,
may.
I see what you're saying. I
I mean,
see.
actively searching before the show, or if the show, they found out about the show and thought, oh my gosh, they can, this is my opportunity to find them. Because in the past, we've heard several times, I've been looking for you, I've been looking for you on the part of one of the team members, where all we're really getting is I knew about you or I didn't know about you from
Right.
that they're meeting. And so I think that's interesting that
It is. And maybe that's partly because of genetic genealogy that it's so much in the news that people are suddenly realizing, oh,
oh yeah.
this this is something that could happen for me.
And right, right. Absolutely, absolutely. That was, but yeah, Team Green, that was such a sweet reunion. Yeah. And yeah. Oh, yeah. And also, hello, he's a gamer. He's a gamer,
Yeah.
just she is. And she was saying that she's got to get better computer, better hardware on her computer to play with him. And motorcycle.
Did we know she was a gamer before? I knew she did the motorcycle
No,
thing and she was part of a motorcycle club
Mhm.
and everything, but I didn't ever remember being a gamer.
No, I didn't either. It was
Okay.
just, yeah, it was just that episode that she said she was also a gamer, and she was just thinking, I cannot believe, and we've said this so many times, I cannot believe that the family that I'm meeting has the same hobbies and interests that I do. How does that come down the generations when you
I don't
don't
know.
know each
It's
other?
genetics.
It
I
is,
know.
yeah, how is that genetically? It's a trait that gets passed down. I mean, it's so interesting.
Mhm.
But you think about it, Ancestry's got this thing now where they show you your traits. You might be interested in this or that. Some of them I'm like, not so much. But some of them are spot on. So maybe some of the stuff does pass down. I mean,
We're
it's
we're
got
gonna see it
to.
again. We're gonna see it again with Team Blue here in a minute.
Oh, we are going to see it again with Team
Hmm.
Blue. All right. Who
So.
wants to do Team Blue? Speaking of Team Blue.
Jenny's the woman in blue.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do Team Blue.
Okay. Laura, you
So
can do the results. How about that?
Well,
that's
but I've
right.
been
There you
yakking
go.
all through it, so it's fine.
Okay.
There we go. So they were going to Shreveport, Louisiana, and their detailed map did not help at all.
It was
And
very detailed, but he
uh,
needed like a magnifying glass. He couldn't
and
figure out.
even the mailman that they found didn't
Yes.
help because it
No.
wasn't his regular route.
Of all the days, and the postman is not the regular postman that day.
So that was pretty funny. But Daniel, it was Daniel's day again, and we were
Yeah.
happy for him. But we're
Yeah.
waiting for Johnny to get in there
Yes.
too. But
Yes.
Daniel met his older brother Nick,
Yeah.
and Nick, he was just a
This is on
big
the
bear of
mom's
a
side
guy.
again. Yeah, this is on the
Yeah,
mom's side again. Yeah.
yes, big
Yeah.
bear of a guy, and like the rest of them, he thought that Daniel had died at birth,
Right.
and so he didn't know
Yeah.
anything about him. And but what I loved about Nick was that he's like, to Johnny, he's like, get in here,
Yeah, oh, I love
you're
that.
my brother too. And
Yeah.
that's just that was just really, really sweet. And they did look alike. I thought
Yeah.
Nick and
And,
Daniel did look alike.
every time Jonathan's looking at him, Johnny's looking at him like, oh my gosh, he gets so blown away
Yeah.
by the resemblance.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch that.
It's
Yeah.
it's
And
really
so,
interesting. Oh, just
no,
the
go ahead.
look thing. I you look at children, and I used to do this at church. I would look at the child and see their father, and they look just like their father. And
Yeah.
then you see their mother,
And
and
then
they
you
look just
say,
like their mother. But
yeah.
the mother and father don't look anything alike.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
So true.
and it was kind of this, that he looks so much like his father,
Mhm. But
and
then
then
when
now
he
he looks like his maternal
but
brother.
yeah,
So
remember when he got the first picture of his mom and we're like, oh my gosh, he looks just like his mom. So, and then
yeah,
we saw what happened with his dad. I mean, it's just so, yeah, that's exactly what
yeah.
happens. It's amazing. It's amazing. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Daniel found out that he's the youngest of nine. And that,
Nine.
Just on the mom's side, but he doesn't have any siblings on the dad's side.
no,
Oh,
and it was
yeah.
just, and so he was really, really loving that he had older siblings, that
Yeah.
seemed to, he did mention that, and he so they found out that Nick is a big pool player.
Yeah.
And it turns out that Daniel loved pool, that played it a lot when he
Yeah.
was growing up with
Yeah.
Johnny, I guess, worked in
Yeah.
a a place that had
Yeah.
pool tables. And I guess their mother did too. I guess she
And
liked
another one of
pool
the
as well.
brothers as
And
well.
another
That's
one of
what
the brothers.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's just amazing,
Yeah.
again, that kind of,
Yeah, how
these
does
specific
playing
things.
pool pass down through your genes? It's
It
just,
just, yeah.
It passed down in mine.
did it? Okay.
My grandfather on my dad's side, my dad, my brother, and myself, we all play pool. I have a pool table in my house.
But you played pool
Yes.
together. You knew each other. See, that's
Well,
probably,
no, but I didn't know my grandfather.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so he passed it down to my dad, and
yeah,
then my dad passed it down to my brother. And
yeah.
then we had a pool table in our house growing up, and that's how
So
I started.
cool. That's so cool. I didn't know
Yeah.
that
So it,
about you, Melissa. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
pool shark. I gotta be careful,
I
Melissa.
Yes.
know.
It's a pool shark.
But it was fun to hear that, and then to
Yeah.
see them. They went actually to go play pool, the three
Yes.
of them, and that was
Yes.
really fun. And Nick shared with Daniel their other brother Chris,
Mhm.
showed a photo of him, and I guess he's a outdoors guy and fisherman, and so
Played pool too. Yeah.
yeah, and played pool too. And
Yeah.
it was just, I was just so happy for Daniel to have
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
that,
Exactly.
especially coming from such a big family,
Yeah.
is just learning that is
And
just
how cool
wonderful.
it's going to be when they can all get together at some point, if they
Hmm.
can all get together, and like he said in an earlier episode, that he's bringing the family back together because a lot of them haven't seen each other in a long, long time. And
Yeah, I
so
love that.
I love that too. And I also loved how he told everybody that now that he's a little brother, he's going to bug Nick just the way Johnny bugs him.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah, I love that. Yeah,
it's really cute.
yeah,
That was really, really cute, except
And I
for,
really love
yeah,
the way
go ahead.
that Daniel's family has really
Oh,
brought
yes.
Johnny in as just a
hmm
brother.
Mhm. Oh,
I
yeah,
agree.
And I love that.
absolutely. I do
Yeah,
too. And that happens, it seems like it happens all the time. And I love that the families, for the most part, open themselves up to whomever the partner is, that's supporting or looking for family as well. I think that's wonderful when they do that. And I mean, families are just growing on both sides. You got all these people that can support and love you. So I just think that was great. That was absolutely fabulous. And it feels so weird that we're done with the reunions because of Team Black being able to go. And it's just going to be the hardest thing because I've got one more day of meeting relatives. So perhaps she'll show another picture and share. Maybe that was who she met on day 8, would have met, or that could have been the person that she was going to meet day 7, because we don't have that one.
No, but she said, I think in the post, it's who she was going to meet day 8.
Oh, did she? Okay, I'll have to go
I
back and
think
read
that's
it.
what it said.
Okay. Okay, I'll have to go back and read it. So, Yeah, so I'm just glad she's sharing that. So Laura, do you want to do results? It was an
Okay.
interesting results day, wasn't it?
It was, and it was interesting to hear the teams kind of assess their situation because Team
Yes.
Red has already figured out that they have a good number of first place finishes. They
Right,
can't finish day 9 in that last position.
right.
So they weren't sweating their bad day too much.
Right. And it was funny because when Dan came on and asked them how their day had gone,
They just said fine.
yeah, fine. And then they looked at each other and went, oh.
Well, no, I think it was before Dan because everybody was talking about the challenge. And
Yeah. So maybe
anyway,
that was
one
when
of
they
them
did it.
said,
Yeah, you're
Precious
probably right.
said it
Yeah.
was good, and
Yeah.
Camille was like, it
I
was.
know, I know.
Yeah, you saw.
You're right. Yeah.
I
Let's psych them
didn't
out.
realize that. But and so green team thought they'd done well, and blue team wasn't quite as sure. But so when Dan came on and he explained that Team Red had not been able to do the challenge, and that Team Blue had come in first because they did it 4 times,
Yeah.
and then they went into their overall times.
Well, we got to
So,
explain too that what time that they gave, what they did because Team Red couldn't do the
oh, that's the
yeah.
most important part. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Team Red, so Dan said they scratched their heads a lot and came
Yeah.
up with the only fair solution was to give them the full 20 minutes
Yeah.
of timing out.
Yeah.
So as if they had timed out on the challenge.
Yeah.
Part of me was like not expecting because I was like, well, let's just not count the challenge today because
And well,
it's all
I could have done
relatives.
that except for and then just given them
So,
one
but
place.
it was interesting because even though Team Red came out, had a bad day, and they had with the flooding and all
Mhm.
that, they were still only 12 minutes over their allotted time.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So that makes me think, to Mary's point earlier, that some of that detour was already baked into their allotted time.
Maybe.
Because otherwise it seems like they would have, been a lot more in the
Yeah, especially if they're using Google Maps or whatever maps they're using, it's going to send them on that detour and not down
It's
I-10.
going to assume, it's going to
Yes.
assume that
Yeah,
they,
because it knows the apps know, the map apps know it's flooded and they're going to have to detour.
unless it has just been reported within the hour or whatever.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah,
Exactly.
so blue ended up on top again,
Yeah.
and greens in second.
Yeah.
And so they were all kind of okay with it. I think they all were, I mean, it was such important relatives, like two brothers
Right. Yes.
to
And a
me,
dad.
they were
Yeah.
all just kind of like, okay, Dan.
All righty then. Exactly.
Yeah.
And as they went up, they were talking about that. Like you said, Team Red has got all those wins. This is how many wins now for blue? At least 2. Do they have
At
more?
least 2, maybe 3.
Yeah. And so, yeah. So
Do
right now, Team
Black
Red
have
has,
any wins?
oh, we're so good at remembering this stuff, aren't we?
I know, terrible.
They're terrible. But
Yeah.
yeah, so and then at the end, Team Green, you could tell they kind of felt good with Dan's decision because they said,
Yeah.
yeah, we had bad weather,
Yeah.
during one of our challenges. It's all gonna work out,
Yeah.
they
It
need to
happens,
take things in
right?
stride.
It just happens.
So
Right. Yeah.
I guess just part of my mind just thought, well, and Team Red is after this call going to go out and do the challenge. We've all moved it into the
We're just now they're gonna do it and then we'll add it on to after the call and see what happened. Oh yeah, that would have been really bad. Would not been good after a whole day. That would have
Well,
not
and I really was the other thing I was wondering, it seems like all of them are getting to their challenge pretty easily.
Mhm.
But if there was a tornado where their challenge was, but no problematic weather where their relative was, those two couldn't have been that terribly close.
That's unless
Yeah, I think the
I
same
mean,
thing.
but a tornado watch or warning can come and go really quick because we have them here a lot. I know Melissa probably
Oh
has
yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
And so within 10 minutes it can all just be gone. And so then you're okay. And if the storm has moved out and the Doppler radar is not showing any indication of any more rotation anywhere in the area, that can be like a 10-minute process.
Right, but then they would have just waited it out for 10
I don't
minutes.
know. I don't know. And we don't know how long it had been before the challenge too. And so, yeah, that's a good point though. But yeah, we don't know how far they ever are. We just don't know how many miles they ever are from their challenge to their relative. Mary?
Well, that challenge had a lot of equipment. It had that
Mhm.
thing with the net and it had the stuff.
Yeah.
So they probably would have had to pack that stuff up.
Ahead of time.
So
Yes.
even if it had
Yeah.
blown through,
Yeah.
they wouldn't have been able to reset it,
No.
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I just felt like the way the guy ran, it was like, get in your car, go,
Yeah.
because it's coming,
Because he wanted to get out of there. Well,
Yeah.
anytime,
That's-
and especially, I mean, I think a lot of
the tornado's
here's
coming and I'm
Yeah.
left here.
and I'm
Yeah.
here. And you gotta think about it this way too. If that's production crew from Utah, they don't know anything about tornadoes. All they see is tornadoes coming. I gotta get out of here. Where those of us that get them every once in a while,
Hey, a tornado watch, because that's what it was. It wasn't a warning, it was
yeah,
a watch.
Oh, it was a
Tornado watches, us in the South are going, oh, cool. We go out on our porches and look,
Yeah. Yeah. I thought the same
It's
thing.
not till those tornado warnings and we look at the
Mhm.
radar and it is almost on top of us that we get, in our
Yes.
closets. So
Exactly. Hey, I had one come
Where we
through
are-
last
where we are,
one.
Melissa.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
We're in a very long, narrow county, and we're so bad because they'll say there's a tornado warning, an active tornado in Oakland County, and we all go run to the TV and find out exactly where it is because
Exactly.
it could still be an hour away.
Exactly. Exactly. So who knows what was really going on? And we had a tornado, just a one. It did some damage to fences come through my neighborhood, and I didn't even know, like last spring, a year ago. And then
Yep.
all of a sudden I was seeing pictures of damage. I was like, what? And then I saw it and it went like up the road near us and down. And I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't even know that there was one here. And so it just all depends and the way they edit it and what was going on and that kind of thing. But I'm really glad that they did choose to do that for safety's sake. And because I mean, can you imagine? Can you
The
imagine?
only thing else I wish they would do for safety's sake is not record videos while they're driving. I want Relative Race to let them pull over. You're driving and you're singing a song or smile. Just let them have that time to pull over and record.
No, it's on the window. I mean, because I did notice the day that Team Black dropped out
Mhm.
is the first time I'd noticed circles on the window, 2 circles.
Mounted. Yeah, it's
on the
mounted.
windshield.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
and
like
I have-
GoPros, like they've
Yeah,
mounted
yeah.
kind
Oh,
of thing.
yeah.
no, I'm not talking about those.
Yeah,
I'm talking
she's-
about when they're sending videos to each
To
other
each
on the
other.
phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But isn't it
just-
usually the passenger doing it, not the person driving?
Well, sometimes
No,
the driver will lean over, but don't we all do that when we're driving? We probably shouldn't,
Mm.
but we all, that's just, at least they're
I
not.
don't know if y'all have in your
together.
states have it, but we have a law in Tennessee that you cannot be holding have to use hands free or whatever. But in my
Yeah.
opinion, because of how people drive with their cell phones, I would much prefer nobody be on their cell phone unless it's an
Yeah.
emergency.
Yeah, in Michigan, which is funny because that's where Team Black was as they were
Mm.
doing their recording. In Michigan, it's illegal.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oops. Oh, well, yeah, I guess I gotta look into that, right? Because you don't want to get anybody pulled over because they're on their phone while they're filming the show and then they get a ticket or whatever. That would not be good. That would not be good. And we'd all see that. It wouldn't be good. Is there anything else that we didn't talk about? I think it was a great episode. Melissa, you were saying there was a lot of firsts in this.
Yes, there was a first of again their car going into the garage and them going into
Yeah.
that house. What was the other one? There was one Dan rapping.
Yeah, that was a first.
If we ever talk to Dan, we'll have to ask him when is his new rapping record coming out.
Coming out. Yeah, exactly. That was absolutely a first, and it was a hit of the
And I think
social
it's a
media.
first that
Yeah.
someone didn't get to do the challenge.
Yeah,
Yes.
for that reason, you know,
Mhm.
not because
Right.
somebody was
I mean, but the
injured or,
challenge was
Right.
yeah,
canceled, yeah.
yeah,
Or
the
a
challenge was canceled. Yeah, exactly.
So
So,
my question is, who, like usually day 9 is kind of big people,
right.
like closeness wise,
Yeah,
family.
Jonathan's
I
gone.
think even Dan kind of alluded
He
to that at the
did.
end.
Yeah, he said, who might be waiting for, who might be that last relative? And he said, how long have they been waiting? And how long have you been waiting to
Yes.
find them? It's like,
Mhm.
don't make me cry at the end of the show. So, yeah, any predictions? It's gotta be Jonathan because I feel so
Gotta
bad.
be
And
Jonathan.
sometimes he looks like he's sitting there like, you know, either he's just getting really tired because, he's not being interviewed, but sometimes he just looks a little wistful, you know.
Yeah. I think it's
Um,
him. I think it's him next.
yeah, I
Yeah,
hope so.
hope so.
Yeah, I
Anybody
think
else?
that, but I don't know about Team Green or Team
Yeah,
Red. Who would be next?
right, right, because she's met her dad, but there might be somebody for Precious, Precious maybe gets to meet somebody, and then yeah, for Team Green, who could it be? I just don't know. I don't know. So, but it's going to be good. I cannot believe, it's just like we say this every time, but I cannot believe that next week is the last of the meeting of the relatives. It's just,
Me either.
I know. It's gone so
seems
fast.
they go by so fast, and I don't understand why they go by so fast, It's 10 weeks, it's 10 weeks, but all of a sudden we're at the end and it's like, goodness gracious, what have I been doing the last 10 weeks for this to go by so fast? So anyway, I appreciate all of your thoughts and your comments and yeah, your predictions and all that. I appreciate it so very much. And we love the questions that and the comments that we get on the blog and especially on the YouTube channel. I love that. Love to hear when we are asking questions of ourselves that you'll answer them for us or ask your own questions or say, when you meet the teams, would you please ask them, whatever. So that's great. So, a couple of weeks, hopefully, I mean, we invite, and depending on schedules, hopefully we'll get a team reunion. So if there's something that you want to ask or want us to ask, let us know. As long as it's not too personal about the teams, we feel like we can ask them. We will do that. So with that, day 8 is a wrap, as Dan would say, and we will see you next time as we talk about day 9. See you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.